Hey Red Bull, Monster is coming for you. Red Bull, what are you gonna do? Red Bull, Monster is right behind you. They're buying up companies. They're coming out with tons of new drinks. They're constantly changing what doesn't work and improving on what does work. What you gonna do, Red Bull? Hey everyone, Caffeine Man here, and this video is a follow-up video to my previous video last week called The Monster Takeover. The Monster Takeover. Check out that video in case you missed any of the details, and you may actually want to go watch it if you didn't watch it before watching this video, because I will be referencing a lot of things in that previous video. I don't want you to feel left out. I will actually include a card above too, even though it's early in the video. I don't want people clicking away, but I will include a card above in case you want to check out that video right now. In that previous video, I did let you know how Monster came to rise in fame and how it got to be the second largest energy drink company in the world. So I do want to take a minute to do the same thing for Red Bull, let you guys know how Red Bull came to be the #1 energy drink company in the world. Red Bull's original name was actually Krating Dang, which you can actually still purchase today from Thailand under that name. It tastes almost exactly like Red Bull because it is the same formula, but it is just not carbonated. Krating Dang originated in Thailand in 1976. It became so popular that they partnered with another company in 1984 to create Red Bull. But it wasn't actually until 1997 that Red Bull came to the United States. And a lot of people think that Monster was the second energy drink to come out because they are the second largest company, but they actually weren't. Rockstar actually beat them by a year because Rockstar was released in 2001. With the popularity of Red Bull and Rockstar, Monster decided to jump in on the energy drink game in 2002. It was originally called Hansen's, and you would know that if you watched the other video, so go watch the other video if you haven't yet. Since Red Bull had a 5-year head start on the other energy drink companies, they already had premium location in lots of stores throughout the US. Monster followed suit by getting into lots of stores, because with Red Bull being the only energy drink option out there, lots of stores were interested in getting other energy drinks in their stores too, such as Rockstar and Monster, because as we all know, competition is great for the industry. Now let's fast forward to 2012. In 2012, Red Bull made $2.8 billion, which is a great number for an energy drink company back then. But Monster was actually starting to catch up. Monster made $2.1 billion in 2012, and with Monster breathing down their necks, Red Bull knew they needed to do something because Monster already had several different lines of energy drinks as well as many different flavors. Red Bull, on the other hand, hadn't changed their original formula and was selling the same drink for 16 years. And after nearly 16 years of selling the same drink in the US, they began to release a few more flavors. How did that work out for them? Well, in 2013, Monster had increased to $2.3 billion, but Red Bull went up to slightly over $3 billion, slowly moving away from Monster. Now, what else can contribute to a company's success? Well, one of the things you need to have is good distribution. The more space you can get on store shelves, and the quicker you can get them into stores, the better. Now, Rockstar was lucky enough to have Coca-Cola distributing their product, but in 2009, Rockstar jumped over to being distributed by Pepsi. With Pepsi now distributing Rockstar, Coca-Cola needed another energy drink to distribute, so in 2015, Monster Energy got into a distribution agreement with Coca-Cola, and not only did Coca-Cola distribute Monster Energy and all of the other companies Monster owns, but Coca-Cola actually gave Monster 6 additional energy drinks lines. As for Rockstar, apparently the switch from Coca-Cola to Pepsi didn't work in their favor, because in 2019, Bang Energy actually dethroned Rockstar from the #3 spot, pushing them to #4, a spot they probably didn't think they were going to be in. With Rockstar on the decline, Pepsi decided to just straight up purchase Rockstar in 2020. Now, Coca-Cola distributes Monster, who also owns Bang, and several other energy drink companies, and Pepsi is now distributing Rockstar. Those are some pretty huge soft drink companies. So who actually distributes Red Bull? Well, Red Bull is so massive, they are so big that they don't actually need anybody to distribute their product because they own their own distributing company called Red Bull Distributing Company. Apparently that seems to be working out for them. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some numbers today. As mentioned in the previous video, Monster made $6.31 billion in 2022. Red Bull made $10.54 billion in 2022. And that may seem like a huge differential, but Monster has slowly been catching up to Red Bull's numbers each year. And with Monster just purchasing Bang, Bang was the number 3 energy drink company in the world, and they made $1.2 billion just the year before. Now, Monster plans on clearing out all the dead weight from VPX supplements, getting rid of all the additional lines, and only keeping Bang. And I'm talking Bang Energy, not Bang Teas, not Bang Coffee, just Bang. And by doing this should help streamline the Bang Energy line, getting rid of everything that wasn't really working for VPX. With Bang now being distributed by Coca-Cola, Monster is estimated to earn more than $1.2 billion in 2024. That is another $1 billion closer to Red Bull. So what is Red Bull doing? Honestly, up until now, they seem to keep doing what they've always done. They have their blinders on and they just keep plowing ahead. Now, in having this channel for 5 years, I've definitely learned a lot about the energy drink industry. And in talking to all of you, an audience of 45,000 energy drink lovers, a lot of us have the same complaints and think we know what Red Bull's problems are. First off, Red Bull is just too expensive. Everyone can agree on that. It's definitely the biggest complaint, but I can definitely tell you Red Bull's not going to go down on their prices, because the truth is they get those prices. Even though a 16-ounce can energy drink of any other company is probably going to be cheaper than Red Bull, the hardcore Red Bull fans, they just pay the premium anyway, which means Monster actually has to sell just about double the amount of cans just to keep up with Red Bull. Also, Red Bull just lacks flavors. For a company being on the market for over 25 years, you'd think they'd have a little bit more selection, and from that selection, there's just some better flavors overall. Granted, they have started trying out different flavors and adding them to their line, but they're still definitely limited in comparison to the other companies, and they only recently started coming out with 2 drinks a year. As of 5 years ago, they were only releasing 1 new drink a year, and that was part of their summer line. If it didn't sell well enough, then it didn't get put into the regular line. Now that sounds like a great business decision, seems like very good marketing. You put a new drink out there, if it doesn't hit the numbers, why would you bring it into your regular line? But at the same time, you're still not bringing any new drinks into your regular line, you're just making failed energy drinks. So eventually, they started releasing a winter edition, therefore they were having 2 new drinks a year. But unfortunately, as of today, not a single winter edition has made it into the regular line, so more failed flavors from Red Bull. As for the summer editions, they have had several drinks go from the summer edition to the regular line. Not all of them have failed. But for such a massive company such as Red Bull, why is it so hard to make a good flavor? So many companies have been having success making great flavors, and it's not just one company. Dozens of supplement companies have been having great success coming out with lots of great flavors each and every quarter, if not more. If these other smaller companies can come out with 4 drinks a year or more, why is Red Bull only doing 2 and they're not even staying in the line? Now, Red Bull does have a huge advantage over other companies, and that's because they're being sold in so many bars and clubs. They got into the adult beverage industry early, and I'm not talking alcoholic products, I'm talking just mixing their original energy drink with alcohol. In the alcohol industry, such as bars, clubs, lounges, restaurants with bars, I mean, it is just a massive industry, and they make over $1 billion just selling to that industry. But that industry is also realizing that Red Bull is pretty expensive and there are other options. Companies such as Liquid Ice, as well as other third-party generic energy drinks, have been stealing business from Red Bull by getting their drinks into bars at a cheaper price. These bars and restaurants can save money by getting the drinks cheaper while still charging the same premium price, because who's going to know that they're not getting Red Bull in their alcoholic drink? Really hard to tell the difference in flavor. And even if they did know, are they going to care? And although these companies are smaller companies, they might have less brand recognition, so some of the bigger alcohol industries might not want to buy through them. They'll stick with what they know in Red Bull. What happens when another company steps up to the plate? It is actually rumored that Ghost Energy is considering making a drink that they can sell to bars as well. With as successful of a company that Ghost is, they can really make a dent in Red Bull's profits, and Red Bull really needs to have a plan for this additional potential loss of income. Now, if price is the biggest complaint as well as lack of flavors, the next biggest complaint from my audience, from me, and from lots of people is the lack of sugar-free options. We are living in a much more health-conscious world, and energy drinks with sugar are falling by the wayside. There are so few sugared energy drinks on the shelves now that the stores are really starting to fill those shelves with sugar-free energy drinks. How many of you have been in a store where they don't have more sugar-free options than they do sugar options? The last store I went into had Celsius, Alani Nu, C4, C4 Smart, Ghost, Bang, Monster Ultra, Reign, A-Shock, and several more. And for a while, it was tough for these drinks to get into stores, but as sugar-free energy drinks are becoming far more popular, stores are opening up their shelves to healthier options. Now, anytime Red Bull has released a sugar-free energy drink, they tend to quickly discontinue it. So many sugar-free Red Bull drinks have been discontinued, so much so that they really only have their original formula energy drink with a sugar-free version and one flavored energy drink, the Coconut Berry Red Bull. Besides that, no other sugar-free, and the Red Bull Zero too. But Monster has over a dozen ultra flavors, as well as a ton of sugar-free options in all their other lines. Red Bull needs more sugar-free flavors. And this is everyone's biggest complaint about Red Bull, because most of us don't want sugar in our energy drinks. We don't want to drink our calories. We know that sugar is bad for you. And Red Bull, well, they actually might be listening. If you want to know one of the ways that Red Bull plans on staying ahead of Monster, we already know it's going to be by releasing more sugar-free options. Therefore, in the first quarter of 2024, Red Bull plans on releasing not one, but 2 additional sugar-free options. And those flavors are going to be the watermelon, so there's going to be a sugar-free watermelon, as well as sugar-free strawberry apricot. Now, according to my Caffeine Man rating chart, I don't have any sales numbers to go by, but the Coconut Berry Red Bull was one of my top rated energy drinks of all time for numerous years, scored a 9.9, an amazing flavor. It must be selling very well too, because they always take their best selling drinks and try to make them sugar free, and they did that with the Coconut Berry Red Bull. One of my other top rated Red Bull flavors is the watermelon. When they came out with their watermelon, there wasn't that many good watermelons on the market, and I thought that they did a really great job. And then after they did it, so many other companies flooded the market with watermelon energy drinks, but they had a good one, and now they're going to be doing a sugar-free one. And then, still looking at the Caffeine Man rating chart, another one that got a decent score, pretty good score, was the strawberry apricot. So all these ones that scored pretty well on the Caffeine Man rating chart must be selling well, and they're bringing them in to their sugar-free line. So it seems like they're actually listening. To stay in first place, Red Bull needs to keep evolving, like all the other companies have. Red Bull has been stuck in a rut, just doing the same thing over and over and over. And given that their numbers, they're still being successful, they're still the #1 energy drink company, so they probably don't think they need to do anything differently. But just because you're the #1 selling energy drink, doesn't mean you have the best energy drink. And the sooner they realize they need to make some changes, the better they're gonna be. I hope you enjoyed this video. To see my Monster Takeover video, in case you missed it, it is right there. I will also include a Red Bull playlist there for you in case you want to check out any of my Red Bull reviews. Be sure to check out my website, caffeineman1.com, for how to save money on lots of energy drinks. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, have yourselves a great day. Or night.